Happy Sunday, YouTube. And you know what it means when it's a Sunday and I'm wearing my Transformers tee. We got another unboxing, and I was correct last week when I said I believe this week's is a 3-for-1. I was not lying. I went back into the closet and I checked as soon as I was done that video last week. Am I right? I'm right. Now, this is a 3-in-1 that should be actually a 5-in-1. The only problem is I've only been able to acquire 3 of the 5 characters in this group. And the reason there's supposed to be 5 characters in this group is because this is another combiner team that we're working on. And without further ado, let me introduce to you 3 of the 5 Combaticons. The Combaticons are a Decepticon combiner team that merged to form a giant robot named Bruticus. The Decepticons had a number of combiner teams. The Autobots eventually kind of caught up to them, but you had the original one, Devastator, that was formed of the Constructicons. Then you had Menasor, who was formed of the Stunticons. And now you have Bruticus formed from the Combaticons. Now, like I said, I only have 3 of the 5, so this is going to be a lot like the Autobot Aerialbot team that I've been kind of slowly picking away at. The introductory video for them, I only had 2 characters, and then just recently, a few weeks ago, I found another one, so I have 3 of the 5 for them. So I'm going to do the same thing with these guys that I did with the Aerialbots. I'm going to explain the origins, actually, the video clips I have will explain their origins more than I will. But we're just going to talk about them as a team, most specifically these 3 characters. And then over time, if I'm able to obtain the other 2 characters, I'll just do short one-off videos to kind of supplement this one to introduce those 2. I have found those other 2 online. They're very limited and they're very expensive, so I just haven't pulled the trigger on them yet. And I don't know if I'll ever get the chance to, because maybe they were released many years ago and it's going to be hard to find them. So I'm not hopeful, but I'm always looking. But anyways, we've got 3 of the 5, and without further ado, we've got Onslaught in the middle is the leader of the Combaticons, and he forms Bruticus's torso. Down here, this is Blastoff. He turns into a space shuttle, and he forms Bruticus's right arm. And then over here is Brawl. He turns into a tank and forms Bruticus's left leg. Now, in terms of their personalities, Onslaught here is the Combaticons' field general, tactician. He's a very capable warrior. He gets his hands dirty when he needs to, but he's more about orchestrating the battle, coming up with the plan going in. And if the plan doesn't necessarily go to the exact specifications he came up with, he will make changes on the fly, and he'll jump in there and he'll blast away along with the best of them, right? So that's kind of his personality, kind of a cerebral kind of guy. Blastoff, fitting with his space shuttle alternate mode, he finds himself not only above the field of battle many times, but he also feels as though he is above everybody else. He kind of has this highfalutin kind of attitude, that nobody else is good enough to hang with Blastoff, that sort of thing. kind of like an aristocratic kind of personality, right? So he's kind of a douche, but a capable and cunning warrior when the need calls for it. This guy, Brawl, the tank, is just what I said he is. He's a tank. He is unbridled fury, rage, combat ability. He just, fitting with his name and his alt mode, he just gets right in there. He doesn't give a shit. He blasts away. He's strong. He's powerful. He'll rip your head off. He'll rip your head off even if you're a Decepticon, right? That's kind of his personality. So 3 very different characters, as you can see. And I can't wait to get my favorite Combaticon isn't in this group. He's yet to be acquired. So I really hope, if I can only acquire one of the remaining 2, I know definitely which one I want to get. Yeah, I hope to be able to get to him eventually. So let's take a look at the video clips I mentioned. The Combaticons and Bruticus are all come from the mind of Starscream, as he kind of reacts to Megatron's laying low of him when Starscream, for however many at the time, tries to usurp leadership of the Decepticons from Megatron, and when Megatron exiles him. The Combaticons are Starscream's kind of response and solution to this situation. So let's, and these are long ones. This is a long sequence here. So let's let them roll, and let's witness the birth of the Combaticons.
All I ever hear about is how great Shockwave is.
Shockwave is an ideal soldier. He's both humble and respectful.
Shockwave has much to be humble about. Who can respect a leader who cannot so much as defeat the Autobots?
You'll never understand, Starscream. You lack the ability to see your own faults.
Nobody turns his back on me! Decepticons, feast your eyes on your new leader. What the? Megatron, you're dead! I terminated you!
Fool, I cannot be terminated by a single blast from your puny weapon. I'm sick of your endless quest for power, especially at the cost of losing mine.
Don't just stand there, do something! Your new leader orders you to slay Megatron!
You're a fool, Starscream, if you think that anyone will ever follow your orders.
Just wait, Megatron. One of these days I will have my revenge.
You and what army? Get him out of my sight!
Used in their wars. There must be more of this stuff lying around here. This thing must be huge. Reminds me of that two-faced loudmouth Blitzwing. Yes. If Megatron can have his Blitzwing, so can I. Me and what army? I'll show him what army.
can't travel on the space bridge without proper authorization.
Here's my authorization.
Proceed.
Activate the space bridge, now! To 14, to 15, to 16. Aha! To 17. I know you're in here somewhere. Gotcha. Combaticons! Transform! Brawl! Swindle! Blast off! Vortex! And onslaught!
Who are you? And what are we doing in these crude carcasses?
Yes, I wouldn't want to be seen by anyone I know in this getup.
I am Starscream, and I just freed your hides from the Decepticon detention center on Cybertron. In return, I command you to assist me in dethroning Megatron.
What's to stop us from beating you into scrap iron instead?
The fact that I have not equipped you with energy absorbers. Without them, you cannot refuel. No energy, no life. So, do we have a deal?
Very well. We will obey you for now.
Okay, let's make it a 3-shot. You guys ready? Hi, this is Marty Minkler reporting live. Today we are witnessing a historic occasion. I have with me 2 members of the Autobot team, Jazz and Cliff Jump.
That's Cliff Jumper.
Yes, Cliff Jumper. They have been invited here as guests of honor to officially cut the ribbon at this ceremony dedicating this magnificent statue of the leader of the Autobots, Optimus Prime. What the?
Are they Decepticons? They must be. Their leader is Starscream.
Combaticons! Transform!
Hey, Swindle, listen to this! My sonic blaster blows them away!
That's it, bro. But check this out. Instant air conditioning. Really? My ionic blaster is much more sophisticated than any of your crude weapons. Hang on to your hats. It's gonna get a little windy.
Thanks, Vortex. I could use a little target practice. It doesn't look good, Jazz. Maybe you better radio Autobot headquarters for help. Piece of cake. We can take these.
Oh!
Hey, come on for a spin.
I won! The first battle goes to Starscream and his army of Combaticons! And Megatron is next! It's great to return victorious, and any doubts I had about your abilities are a thing of the past.
Did you see me out there? I was magnificent. You might even say stupendous.
Why, you imps! Now one of you has the muscle to stand up to those Autobots alone. If I hadn't been there, they'd be picking up your parts with an electromagnet.
Nonsense. It was my plan that caused the Autobots' downfall. Your plan? It was my vortex that put them out of commission.
Save your energy and your contempt for Megatron!
What about the Autobots' energy absorbers?
What about them?
You promised them to us.
Well, I can't play favorites now, can I? Nobody gets an energy absorber until we capture 3 more Transformers.
This is Prime.
I found Starscream and the Combaticons engaged in a firefight with Megatron and the Decepticons. They're at the Amalgamated Water and Power Plant on the north side.
Continue monitoring their activities. The Autobots and I will join you momentarily.
Roger, out.
Autobots, transform and roll out.
Enough of this. Constructicons, merge into Devastator. Leave no trace of their insidious existence.
I have prepared for this emergency, Megatron. Combaticons, merge into Bruticus!
Bruticus angry. Bruticus devastate. Devastator. Jazz and Cliffjumper appear to be safe. Grapple, Ratchet. Now, go get Jazz and Cliffjumper.
Nothing of you will be left but salvage, Starscream.
Promises, promises!
It's no use. We must retreat.
So, Megatron, now will you kindly tell the world who the new Decepticon leader is?
Never.
Bruticus?
No.
Now, Megatron, who is the new Decepticon leader?
Enough. You are.
I can't hear you!
You are.
I am now the leader of all Decepticons!
Megatron's in trouble.
Who cares?
It looks like Starscream's defeated him.
So? So you think Starscream's gonna stop here?
Good point. He never knows when to quit.
Thundercons unite to form Venusaur!
Bruticus?
No, Starscream. Not Bruticus. It's Megatron, your leader.
Megatron, don't, please!
This time it really is. Goodbye, Starscream. Astrotrain, get him and his giant ally off this planet. You're banished from Earth forever.
You'll regret that you did not destroy me, Megatron! I shall have my revenge!
Pretty cool origins, right? Starscream gets exiled, goes to a place called Guadalcanal, which I'm not sure if that's real or not, and kind of infuses the wreckage of a a skirmish from 1985 into brand new Decepticons that he infused with the personalities of like criminal Transformers, right? That he liberates from a bank in Cybertron. So pretty cool origin for the Combaticons and Bruticus. I really like that story. That's a great episode. And as you can see, it didn't start off well for Starscream, and it also didn't end well for Starscream. So pretty cool origins for the Combaticons, like I said. Now, I didn't have any of the Combaticon toys from the original G1 line. I was a big Combiner guy. I love the Combiner teams. But despite that, because I did have a lot of Transformers toys, but I had even more G.I. Joe toys. G.I. Joe was kind of my bread and butter when it came to which series did I have the most toys from. I really love the G.I. Joe toys, but I love the Transformers almost as much. And so I did have a lot of them, but I didn't get as many of them as I would have liked because I think I was split between the two franchises, right? So I had like maybe half of the Constructicons. I had, I think, all but one. No, I had 3 of the 5 Protectobots. I had 4 of the 5 Stunticons. So I had a smattering of them across the board, but not any one full Combiner team did I have, right? I had no Aerialbots, I had no Combaticons. So it was kind of random and whatever. So it's nice all these years later to, you know, in this case, the Stunticons, I have the full team. And Devastator, I've got the full Constructicon team, and the Predacons, you know, I did that, I got that full team, and then I've got a few of the Aerialbots this time around, and now I've got a few of the Combaticons too. So it's nice all these years later to finally get my Combiners in-house, right? So without further ado, let's have a look at said G1 toys of these 3 characters in particular. So a pretty wide gamut there of quality for these 3 toys and intricacy. You know, you have Onslaught, obviously being a bigger character because he's the torso of Bruticus. So his transformation is a lot cooler and more complex, and he's bigger and he looks a little better. And then you have Brawl, who actually, for being a smaller robot, his for the size and type of Transformer he was in that original toy line, his transformation was a little more complex for that type of character. And then you have Blastoff, who basically, you know, pull him in half and stick out some arms kind of thing, right? His was pretty basic, pretty simple, right? So, but when they all combine to form Bruticus, and you saw pictures of Bruticus in there as well when all 5 of them are together, ends up being a pretty cool-ass Combiner team. So, but let's see what these new and improved Combaticon toys look like as we pull these 3 out of the box and get a look at them. Alrighty, we're going to start with the leader. We're going to start with Onslaught. And as you can see, they've given the Bruticus name Stellar Warrior, and then Onslaught's name is Caligos or something like that. So, but officially, it's actually Bruticus and Onslaught. So let's have a look at Onslaught here. He's probably the one I'm the most excited for outside of the other guy that I haven't gotten yet. That's my favorite Combaticon. These guys look pretty big. They look pretty solid. You know, you can see through the box on these ones. They're a little different that way, so you can get a good look at them. This toy brand is Unique Toys, which I've got a couple characters from them so far. The Decepticon Triple Changer Octane. He turns into a fuel tanker and a big jumbo jet refueling plane. He was Unique Toys, and I think I have at least 1 or 2 other guys as well that are Unique Toys that were pretty good. So I'm like, I trust this brand, right? So Character card looks a little worn out actually. It's got some scuffs on it, but not a big deal. Instructions. Looks pretty like a pretty more simplistic transformation, despite still being a pretty detailed and robust robot, which I appreciate. And I remember the other unique toys of Transformers I have did seem to be a little simpler to transform than some of the other brands. So that is appreciated. Yeah, so look at this guy. Like, rubber tires. Oh my god. This is pretty sick. This is a pretty neat robot right here. Yes, he is. Oh, can you hear that? Well, stop. That is the cat wanting to be let into the room, so she may be making an appearance soon after I break for the next sequence and let her in. That's the front of Bruticus, his chest plate there, so obviously they come with their respective pieces to make the big boy. Now, Onslaught doesn't come with a blaster, so I'm assuming maybe these come off or something and he utilizes them, but anyways, we'll find that out eventually. So that is Onslaught, looking pretty sick. Next, we're gonna do Blast Off. He's probably the Combaticon I'm least looked forward to. Just a space shuttle, right? It's not really that exciting compared to what the other ones are. But it's still gonna be awesome. Make no mistake of that. Whoa. Okay. The spaceship canopy there. So once again, comes with a character card. Instructions. I accidentally got some tape on there. Let's take that off. Not that it's a big deal, but I don't like sticky things unless it's a lady. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, pretty simple transformation. It looks like for him too, even simpler than Onslaught's. So that's once again appreciated. So let's get him out of the box. Yeah, so he comes with, look at that, the stiff right hand of Bruticus. Look at that, that's pretty cool. So we got a hand and we got a chest plate. Blast Off comes with a blaster. And here is the man himself. Oh, what's that come from? Oh, goes in there. Okay. I can glue that if it's a permanent thing. Yeah, so, and these guys all have a really neat, grippy kind of feel to them. I've never quite experienced that with these characters before. And that's, a different kind of canopy you can put on for whatever reason. Maybe if you want to keep it more G1 or more comic or movie or whatever, I don't know. Probably something like that. They offer you kind of aesthetic options like that sometimes, right? Depending on the character and where they've been seen before and stuff. So they seem pretty solid too. So far I am very, very impressed with these quality of these robots and what they look like and what they feel like so far. Last up, Brawl, or Archimonde. What was Blast Off's? His was Lash Layer. That's the coolest one. Lash Layer. Sounds like somebody that works at like an esthetician's, right? Hey, Lash Layer, I need new brows. Oh, fuck. Here we go. Okay, Brawl. Obviously, we're gonna get our instructions. Character card, looking pretty sweet. Instructions. Yeah, for his transformation into the foot, you literally pull two flaps out and then tilt it upwards. That's efficiency right there. So, what does Brawl come with? I think, based on the chest plate and the hand, you know what's coming with this guy, right? The boot of Bruticus. Put that thing right up your ass if you misbehave, right? Brawl's got a blaster. Actually, he's got two. Two blasters, double blaster action, and then there he is. Brawl. Pretty sweet. He's kind of got a pinhead compared to the other guys. But yeah, pretty sick. They seem pretty locked in. I'm loving this team so far. Oh, I really hope now that I can find the other two guys, right? Oh, time to maybe dig a little deeper on my searches. So yeah, Brawl, Blastoff, Onslaught. Let's switch over to time lapse and get these guys into their vehicular modes. Let's do it. So my reaction to the three Combaticons that I've got, mixed, but mostly positive. Mostly positive. The good things about these guys, they're pretty hefty. Onslaught, you could probably murder somebody with him. The other two guys, for being a fair amount smaller, are still pretty hefty too. The plastics all seem to be really good quality, and like I said, especially in their thigh areas and stuff like that, it's a really cool kind of plastic that's almost grippy, almost like a rubber, but it's not. And then like Onslaught has real rubber tires. The joints are all really stiff, so like there's no loose, like you stand guys up and they don't like flop down, you know. They're not too top heavy or anything. They all stand really well. On the downside of them being too stiff, sometimes when you're trying to transform them and it almost seems like, well, that part doesn't move. It's telling me to do this, but this part doesn't move. It's all one piece. No, it does turn, but it's just so stiff that, you know, you're very trepidatious, if that's a word. It's not, when you're going to do some of the transformations. So, and as you can see, through the time lapse and the pictures, I was only able to get Onslaught fully transformed. His was a pretty basic transformation considering how complex he is and how big he is. It was all fairly easy to follow. I got it done fairly easily. Just a couple little parts I got hung up on for a short bit, but his was pretty easy. Blastoff's, it looked like the back of him was going to be really simple. You just put his legs together, push him in, fold out the wings and the thrusters, and you're done, right? But the nose cone of the shuttle, in turning his arms up and in and twisting them all about, there were so many different places where this thing articulated, and the instructions weren't really clear, and I could figure out what I had to do, but I couldn't figure out how to get there, right? So I abandoned his transformation before I went ahead and broke something, right? And then Brawl, this really irritates me. They package these things all in their robot modes, and for these two at least, it was good because the instructions came, turning your robot into military truck mode, into space shuttle mode. Brawl's came as, turning your tank into robot mode. It's like, you fucking packaged it in robot mode. Well, I don't need to know. I need to know how to turn him into a tank, right? So sometimes I'll take the initiative to try and reverse engineer it, but based on Blastoff's wonky transformation, I was like, you know what? Onslaught's the one I really wanted to see anyways. Being the big guy, being the military truck and everything. I was happy with that. Blastoff's I had to abandon. I was kind of considering doing Brawls, but then I was like, you know what? No, I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, the only thing I didn't like, the only downside is really the tricky transformation process to Blastoff, and that they packaged the instructions for Brawl in a stupid manner, in a reverse manner. So, but otherwise, these are three really solid characters. I can't wait to mix them in with the rest of my guys. And I'm going to, like I said, be monitoring eBay and AliExpress and all those sites that I get these guys from, and just continue to research the other two Combaticons, and hopefully eventually I'll be able to add those both of those guys to the collection, and we can revisit these. If not, well, at least we got more Combaticons than we don't have, right? So as for next week, it is going to be awesome. This is a character next week that I had his G1 toy, and I traded it to somebody at school when I was back in public school in the 80s for a different character. I can't remember who it was, but I had buyer's regret not long after doing it, and never ended up getting the G1 of this character, never getting that toy back, either buying a new one or trading back or whatever. So I was very regretful of that decision. I still think about it to this day, right? So I've now got a new and improved, updated, modern version of that character. So it's been a long time coming. It's been like, what, 90, maybe, 30 something years in the making to get this character back in the fold. So I'm really excited about next week. He's a really cool, distinct character, and he's got a special ability that a few of the other guys that I've unboxed up to this point, a few other guys also have this ability. So that's all I'm gonna give you to go on. So and then after that, next week's character is the last of my regular G1 characters. But then after that, I've got a few other things in store that are still in the Transformers universe, but are going to take us a little outside of the G1 era. And yeah, so you'll have to wait at least a couple weeks to see where I'm going with that. And Onslaught, he's rude, flipping us off, giving us the bird, right? There's no accounting for Decepticons.
Meow.